Ivan Halinka with some instructions to the guys waiting for the next shift on the power play.
There he is, a little pep talk, and down at the American bench they're getting a breather.
Team USA will practice here in Detroit tomorrow before moving on to Chicago for their next 2 games. Saturday against the Soviet Union, Monday against Finland. We'll be on hand with coverage of those games for the 91 Labatt Canada Cup.
Always so much more fun to practice, excuse me, Jigs, to do a practice after you've won a hockey game. That's not conceding this game by any means to Team USA, but they do have it in pretty good shape right now.
They've played 2 periods at Toronto's Maple Leaf Gardens, and Team Canada continues with a 3-0 lead over Sweden. And an injured Czechoslovakian player down on the ice. Jágr gets up very slowly. He got cranked.
He got cranked, I think, with a cross check. He's reaching toward his face.
These 2 teams met in Saskatoon in a pre-tournament game. It got nasty. And here tonight, Jágr, you can see, is bleeding.
Takes a look around. There's Jágr trying to handle. Look at this, right in the face. Wow, Suter lays a heavy lick with a cross check into the face of Jágr. No penalty as of right now, but we'll have to wait and see the linesman, whether they talk to the referee. He's consulting with a couple of different players, but young Jaromír Jágr, who's had a wonderful hockey game for his Czech team, takes a vicious cross check in the face from Suter. Let's take another look. Jágr was leaning forward. He was trying to handle a bouncing puck around the net just to the right of Richter. There he is. There's Suter. Look at that. That's vicious. That's the kind of thing that Brett Hull was saying that they're trying to get out of the NHL. Maybe ought to talk to one of his teammates. It was in the game you were talking about in Saskatoon when these 2 teams played the final exhibition game preparing for the Canada Cup. Apparently, Chris Chelios mad at Tomas Jelinek. Jelinek had carved into the face of a couple of the Team USA guys, and Chelios leveled him with what I understand was something of the same nature, that kind of a check, and they lined up the teeth of Jelinek on the top of the boards. There were several.
It hasn't been too nasty tonight. There have been a couple of occasions, and the most recent there, Suter, and no penalty. There is still 1 minute and 12 seconds left in a Czech power play. Roenick sitting on a roughing penalty. Puck comes back to the left point for Gudas. He got checked, and a diving Doug Brown was able to clear the zone. Robert Reichel slams it back in again. Brown waits over on right wing, golfed at it. Got it to the line and no further. Robert Krohn plays it back into the corner. Now Reichel sets up here in the right wing corner to the blue line. Back to Reichel. Reichel looked at Gudas, elected to shoot one. It was blocked and now goes wide. Brown and Bacha after it. And the U.S. is able to clear it out of the zone. 5.5 minutes to go in the 3rd period. Team USA 4, Team Czechoslovakia 2. The U.S. trying to win for the 2nd time in the Canada Cup tournament. Said at the outset they've had success over the years against Team Czechoslovakia with a record of 2 wins, a loss, and a tie, and outscoring the Czechs 14-11, the various U.S. teams.
They beat them 6-2 and 3-2. 2 wins that they lost 3-1.
Well, that was the 1987 Canada Cup in a game at Sydney, Nova Scotia. The very first Canada Cup in '76. The game ended in a 4-4 draw. There is no overtime, remember, in tournament play. During the round robin, I should point out. Now less than 5 minutes to go, and the teams are at 6 aside again. And a bad pass by Jelinek. Stolen here, Roenick to Granato off the heel of his stick and just wide. After the round robin tournament, played everybody 1 time. The top 4 teams go to the playoffs. Then it's a straight knockout in the next round, the semifinal. The 2 winners advance to a best of 3 for the Labatt Canada Cup. Leach has played it around the boards, picks it up himself. Up ahead is Roenick. There's the pass. Out comes Hasek. Roenick a drive, missed the net. Hasek may have gotten a chunk of it. See Hasek back into the goal to cover the puck that's on the outside of the mesh, Ed.
Roenick shot it so hard it's hard to tell. It might have gone right through Hasek, the goaltender. What a free shot Roenick had. He blistered it, I believe, wide. Here's a look at it. There's Roenick, drops his head down, then the head comes up. There's the shot. See the left arm of Hasek move. He may have gotten a piece of it. Bit of an altercation. Tony Granato having some words. There's Jeremy Roenick, the Boston native. Chicago first pick at 88. 94 points last year. There's the update on today's game. USSR, I guess you could say that the alarm went off for them. They won their first game, beating Finland 6-1. And in the third period, Canada leading Sweden 3-0. That game at Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto.
You were mentioning Tony Granato. There's been a little pushing, shoving, nothing too serious. There's only been one fight in the history of the Canada Cup. That was in the Labatt Canada Cup 1984. Helmut Steiger playing for West Germany. That's when the Finns didn't send a team over. And Milo Horshova playing for the Czechoslovakians. They were thrown out by referee Ron Wicks. 15 minutes and penalties to each player. And that is a Canada Cup record. Most penalties in a game are penalty minutes. And there's your summary of tonight's action. Just over 4 minutes remaining. Team USA up 4-2 as Kevin Miller centered one. Taken by Musil, plays it up the left wing boards and out towards center ice. Chelios has it. Couldn't get it back inside the zone. And down the left side goes Bacha. Sets up Yager, and that is off Richter and ends up in the seats. So Yager again draws a crowd here.
I would have thought that if a Czech was going to go after anybody, it would have been after Gary Suter. After the cross-check into the face of Yager. That's Chelios having some words with Yager. You can see the fat lip, the blood on his jersey. 3 minutes and 44 seconds remaining in the third period. There's the bench. Jeremy Roenick, back of his helmet, number 17. Tony Granato talking with teammate Joey Mullen, number 7. You can tell that by their helmets. Of course, Ivan Holinka trying to do something to get his team some scoring opportunities. What kind of combination of defensemen and forwards? They don't change them that often. Czech team, like many of the European teams, they use 5 men each time they change. The same 5, 2 defensemen, 3 forwards.
Czech still have Canada and Sweden on their schedule in this preliminary round. They play Canada at Montreal on Saturday and then Sweden in Toronto next Monday. I told you Team USA goes to Chicago for games against the USSR and Finland. Saturday, Soviets. Monday, the Finns. Team Czechoslovakia trying to move the puck in deep. It's back in the U.S. goal. Yager took a look at Miller, who was coming in, and now Brett Hull frees it up. Allen moves it around the boards. Craig Janney can't dig it out of some skates. And again, it goes back in the U.S. goal. Yager in forechecking. And exactly 3 minutes remaining, and a hit here. Referee Bill McCreary with the signal for an elbowing penalty as Yager pushed at Miller. Surveying the situation as he goes to the penalty timekeeper's bench with the signal for elbowing on Miller.
Kevin Miller takes a run at Yager, gets the elbow up. Of course, I suppose that's a defensive action as he charged at him because Miller, not that tall, trying to make something happen against Yager, who is in the 6'3" range. Here they into the board. There's Yager as he turns. Here comes Miller. There, you see the elbow come up. Interesting that he gets a 2-minute penalty for that bit of emotion, and Gary Suter gets nothing for cross-checking Yager across the lower lip.
Now Team Czechoslovakia with one more power play chance. This will be their 6th opportunity of this game. Still looking for their first power play goal in the Labatt Canada Cup 1991. Vaca comes out, so does Jelinek, so does Seeger. They have Gudis on one side of the defense, Musil on the other.
I wonder if Hasek will head for the bench, Jigs. He seems to be so far out. Maybe it's just a place he likes to watch the game from. He's standing out at the hash marks.
Gudis teed one up. Blocking glove save by the goaltender. Maciek backed in toward the goal mouth. Now comes out to play the puck. Off the boards it goes. And right to Brian Leach, who's dumped it in. U.S. floods the zone with Otto starting in. The Czechs come up with a loose puck and on this power play move through the center ice zone and on into the U.S. territory. And again, we welcome our CTV audience to the Joe Louis Arena in Detroit. Team USA leads Czechoslovakia by a score of 4-2. The Czechs with a power play. 2 minutes and 20 seconds remaining in the third period. Czechoslovakia in the white uniforms having difficulty moving out of their own end of the ice. Gudas got to the line where Dave Christian checked him.
All the little things breaking down for Team Czechoslovakia. The power play has not worked. You see little passes now that were working before, as you just saw there in the skates, as Dougie Brown grabs it and lifts it down the ice.
Yeah, that first pass has to be good. The way Team USA is checked, you're not going to get through center ice. Now they elect to carry it. Robert Reichel is across the line. Parks here on the right wing boards, then plays it in deeper, but Chris Chelios gets to it. Turned it over. Reichel centers. There's Jágr with a shot. Stretching. Saved by Mike Richter. Gary Suter of the Calgary Flames after it. Got it to Christian, but not out of the zone. And again, Richter has to be alert as the Czechs held it in momentarily. And now Joel Otto shoots it down the ice. Modano has scored for Team USA in this third period after Jágr had gotten the Czechs to a 1-goal deficit. Modano's a power play goal, making it 4-2, and we just have 1 minute and 10 seconds remaining in the third period of this game. Up ice with it is Jerry Schleger, the Vancouver Canuck draft choice of last season. Got one in front. Jimmy Johnson will clear that out. And the Czechs trying to move out of the zone. Less than a minute to go. Team USA up 4-2. And about to take a 2-win, 1-loss record out of Detroit. It will drop the Czech record to a win and 2 losses. Granato with a feed onto the stick of Mike Modano. Modano's had a strong game again tonight. Gave it to Granato, backhanded it in, but offside at the blue line. Game's at full strength again after Miller's penalty and is expired.
A lot of heads hanging a little low along the Czech bench. They're looking up at the clock. 33 seconds remaining.
Tim Taylor will begin his 16th consecutive season as the head coach at Yale University. Pats some backs. Good effort by his squad tonight. A couple of times they seem to drift into deep slumber, it appeared.
Well, they stopped skating, Jake, so whenever a team stopped skating, they stopped checking. They started to do some of that hook checking and trying to slow down the Czechs with their sticks. That allowed Czechoslovakia to get back in, but recovered from that well enough. Most of it's been sloppy play by the Czech team. I'm a little surprised. They've had some good individual efforts, but team-wise, they just have not played that well, have not passed well.
Here's Thomas Jelinek with a pass. Found its way to Gudas. They can't get through center ice. Tony Granato to Jeremy Roenick. Couldn't get it back to Granato in time. Through center ice is Michael Pavanka of the Washington Capitals to the left side. Uh-oh. Jelinek was out of stick. He got an elbow to the kisser. And now a team meeting has been called.
Tony Granato from Team USA involved in the middle of it. Two seconds is all that remains in the hockey game. You hate to see this kind of stuff happen. Somebody pulling the helmet and the face shield off Gudas, number 3. There's some undercurrents in the hockey game. There's been some stick work. Some slaps along the hands and wrists and chops at the legs. Remember, they back early in the hockey game. So, let's take a look at that last play. There, knocking the stick out of his hand. There's Granato as he goes after Jelinek. He seems to be a favorite target. I had mentioned about how Chelios had knocked some of his teeth out in Saskatoon in an exhibition game. But it'll be a happy group of Team USA players as this game is over. Talking to them this morning and again before the hockey game, they were very nervous about playing the Czech team. They knew the significance, both teams having the same number of points, same record, win and a loss.
Team USA had scored 9 goals in its first 2 games, but it allowed 9. Tonight, on the verge of a 4-2 win. Jelinek will get a penalty along with Granado. Brett Hull, who set up Mike Modano's goal. Hull has had a couple of assists in this game. Don't forget our Labatt Player of the Game award coming up as this game comes to a close with a 4-2 win for Team USA. Mike Richter being congratulated by his teammates. Tim Taylor has seen his team's record go to 2 wins and a loss in the Labatt Canada Cup 91.
See number 34 going out to congratulate his teammate on Team USA and also teammate on the New York Rangers. That was John Van Beesbrook, native of this area, Detroit.
Just turned 28 yesterday, didn't Beezer? Baby face. Talk about Yager and that Pittsburgh team and Team Czechoslovakia as well. There's another baby face, Mike Richter.
25 years old.
Alongside Big Joel Lotto, Chris Chelios. They line up at their respective blue lines for the presentation of the Labatt Player of the Game, and here it is.
Player of the Game Awards. Presenting the awards are Joe Keitel for Cannon, Ron Kemp of Labatt, USA. The Labatt Player of the Game for Team Czechoslovakia will receive a Canon Futura camera. Number 25, Tomas Jelinek.
Jelinek, 29 years of age, never drafted by an NHL team.
The Labatt Player of the Game for Team USA, who receives an Inuit carving courtesy of Canadian Tire. Number 9, Mike Modano.
That's a pretty good choice in Mike Modano. He skated so well. He covered a lot of ice, did his job offensively, and probably doesn't get a lot of recognition for what he does defensively, but he did it both in this hockey game.
Set up the game-winning goal, as it turns out, and then scored the insurance goal on the power play in the 3rd period. So the final score is Team USA 4, Team Czechoslovakia 2. This is the 1991 Labatt Canada Cup. 4, Czechoslovakia 2. And the USA record now, 2 wins and a loss. Strong effort. Mike Modano selected as our Labatt Player of the Game for Team USA. A local kid really came back and had this crowd excited. He dances, as you say, on those skates, and he scored a great goal in the 3rd period as the insurance goal.
Yes, it was an important goal because Yager had just scored prior to that, Jigs, and things were happening in a positive manner for the Czechoslovakians. You see Hull, as he moved the puck, Czech defenseman couldn't control it, and he blistered it. Boy, did he put something on it. And Mike Modano giving the Team USA a little distance in there, and again they could do something different. Having a 1-goal lead, it's a lot different hockey game than having a 2-goal lead in the 3rd period. But some pretty good individual efforts, as I pointed out, for the Czech team. The same with the U.S. team. I don't think that the Team USA had to play as well as they could have.
Here's the way the night went. Pat LaFontaine got the game started for the USA with assist from Christian and Brown just before the 4-minute mark of the opening period. Jeremy Roenick scored a power play goal, his 3rd in this Canada Cup 91. Leach and Hull assisted 7 minutes and 53 seconds into the period. So the U.S. safely in front 2-0 until Jelinek scored unassisted at 15:37. It's 2-1 USA at the end of 1. In the 2nd period, the only goal early, Joel Otto from Olchuk and Modano. And the USA was leading by a score of 3-1 going to the 3rd period. Then Yager scores his first of this tournament from Bernick 1 minute and 30 seconds into the period. Modano comes back, and that goal that you just saw, a power play goal, Modano set up by Brett Hull at the 5:50 mark. So the U.S. gets 2 power play goals tonight on the way to a 4-2 win. They were outshot by a margin of 4, 25 shots by the Czechs, 21 by the U.S. And now our up-to-date standings, the U.S. has moved to the top for the time being, pending, of course, the outcome of the Canada game against Sweden. But the U.S. with 4 points, Canada and Finland with 3 each. Then it's Sweden with a record of 1-1. The Czechs dropped to 1-2, and the Soviets won for the first time today. So Sweden, Czechoslovakia, and the Soviet Union all with 2 points each. Finland and Canada tied, and again I remind you, Canada has a 3-0 lead over Sweden, and our final score tonight was the United States 4, the Czechoslovakia team 2. This is the 1991 Labatt Canada Cup. The 1991 Labatt Canada Cup has been brought to you by Labatt's Blue. Now you're laughing. For Ed Westfall, I'm James McDonald saying good night from the Joe Louis Arena in Detroit.